Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Gene Girdley along with Ted Ings. And Ted, our next guest, is a great friend of the Fixed Ops Roundtable, all the way from Auto Remote Direct.
That's right, Gene. Dan Drews is a great friend of the Roundtable with ARD, Auto Remote Direct, and he's in the key business. And Dan, first of all, welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Thanks, Ted. Thanks, Gene. We're pumped to be here. We appreciate the invite.
You know, my daughter just turned 19. She's in her second year at college, and we gave her my mother's car as a first car to start. It's a '94 Ford Taurus.
Nice.
And, it's got the old keys, you know, where you put the key in there. And my daughter has been really struggling with that notion of having a key go into the ignition and how that works and how to get the key out. And I just wanted to say that the days of getting a duplicate key made at a hardware store are over, right? I mean, we're not going to see anything like that in our lifetime anymore, are we?
No. You know, most of the twist key stuff is going away. Everything's going to push button, and even apps, you know, with OnStar services and so forth. It's truly mind blowing what we're seeing.
Anyway, Dan, take it away. Tell us what's going on at ARD.
Well, we've got some big things going on, and I'd like to share our program with everybody, and it's a program that everybody in the car business, at least that I know of, you know, it's a real thorn in their side, and that's, you know, lost keys, second key fobs. Does the car come from the auction, or is it getting traded in with a second key? So we came up with your own one-stop fob shop for dealerships, and we're all encompassing. We offer everything that your parts, service, and fixed ops operations department could ever need. You know, as far as key cutting equipment, a full catalog of all makes for you guys to keep everything in house, along with the programmer to do 95% of the vehicles on the road. It is the most capable programmer out there. We're very proud of that. So we're actually narrowing that gap here in a month with BMW here in a few weeks, which is very exciting for a lot of folks. You know, here's what is the dealership currently doing for these lost and second keys? These customers are demanding that second key with all their vehicles, and you know, and with Carvana and all these other CarMax doing the same thing. Dealerships are getting cornered, and the days of, yeah, it comes with what it comes with, those days are over. And we just want to offer you guys the options and get the dealerships really thinking about what they're doing. And most are using a mobile service, and we find that a lot of our customers have moved to our program because it's unavailable when you need them most. It's overpriced and unreliable, and these guys are rarely licensed and rarely certified. So dealerships are giving, you know, some dude in a van access to, you know, literally the keys of the kingdom for all these keys that are in their key track systems and so forth, and just letting them go. To me, that's a lot of security violations there in my mind. How often are they coming by? Are they coming by? Are they telling you they're coming by and not coming by? You know, what is very important is, are they giving you credit for orphan keys? And we kind of coined that phrase. Just lost key fobs, and most dealerships have that old box of remotes and fobs, and somebody might come and buy them, or they just collect us. Well, most of that stuff is worth money, and we can use that as store credit towards our tools, or on an ongoing basis for refurbishing. We can refurbish and unlock a lot of this stuff that the dealerships think are garbage, and we can help you reuse them, and thereby taking your key liability even further down. And are you satisfied with the results and costs? What would you change as a dealership fixed ops manager or GM? Roadblocks currently experienced by the dealerships, and most of our dealership customers are experiencing their customers, whether the used vehicle is certified or not, they want that second set of keys. You know, and in between all that, your employees are losing keys. Porters, salespeople leave them in their pocket. They go home, they forget about it. It falls in the snow, and a lot of it has to do with inability to cut high security or laser cut keys. You know, that most of us have come to learn that term, laser cut. They're not exactly laser cut. Scheduling conflicts with mobile services. Supply issues have been huge with the Ford, GM, for pretty much every factory in the world being shut down for COVID. We've got most product. So not only can we fulfill your new and used car needs as far as keys and fobs, but also we can supply your parts department. Piles of miscut, unusable, unwanted keys. we can actually refurbish those keys. So something that may have been over $100 mistake because somebody miscut them, we can actually reblade, and the customers can reuse that kind of stuff. And ultimately, lack of support. They're not getting support from their vendors. Key cutting. This is a very daunting part of a parts department. You know, I just talked to a customer on Friday. They don't even have a key machine that they're paying a monthly lease on that can cut laser cuts. It's just the old traditional side cut stuff, and he's paying more on a lease than we could offer for all the equipment together on something that's just completely outdated. You know, is your staff properly trained? Most are not. Most are not. They hate using that key cutter. It's daunting. They miscut. They get yelled at by the manager because the key is miscut. They got to order another one. So one of my first questions to every parts manager is, are you happy with your key cutting equipment now? Most are not. Well, we offer the all-in-one solution for around $3,500. It will duplicate and cut by code. So if you're in an all keys lost situations, in most situations, you can cut the key and program it with SmartBox, regardless of the make of the vehicle, whether it's your franchise or not. It comes with our SKUs built in for quick reference, and that comes in with the key cutting portion and with our app. You can look up compatibility on everything with our apps. There's a 2-year free warranty, lifetime updates, lifetime tech support with us. An affordable key cutting drill bits, cutting pieces, probes, stuff like that, where a lot of these pieces are $200-300 from the usual key vendors. They're $25 from us, and they last about 150 keys. High security blades. Here's your laser cut stuff. This is, you know, what everybody's obsessed with and afraid of, and because for good reason. For many years, it was the most expensive, you know, key fob and blade in the business. Well, we've simplified that. By adding duplicate and cut by code functions with our SKU system. It's 3 entries into the key cutter, and we've cut that miscut percentage down to about 1% for dealerships, which is huge for them. And it's going to cut your standard side cut blades, which are your older traditional keys. It's going to cut them all. Now the SmartBox, I'm getting back to our crown jewel of ARD, which is our exclusive tool, the SmartBox. Now this allows your dealership, your service and parts department to program 95% of the vehicles on the road today. And some of the benefits of SmartBox, the biggest benefit, it's easy to use. It doesn't require that Harvard law degree to navigate and to be able to use, which was ridiculous in the past, and it was 5 times the price. It programs most keys in just minutes, all your aftermarket stuff, and your OE stuff. It's one of the first questions I always get. Will it program my OEM stuff? Yes, and aftermarket. Free software updates for life, mobile app with instructional videos. And we offer free live training actually through our studio here 2 to 3 times a week, which a lot of our customers have taken advantage of, actually several times. So if you have any turnover, you're able to use that unlimited. We offer our widget. So whenever you click on any of our products, it's going to tell you if it will do all keys lost, what the price is, OE part numbers, our SKU, our replacement blades. It's going to have all kinds of important notes in there that your techs or detail department might need. And here's those important notes. Gives you an idea of the estimated time to do this. Most of the time it's overestimated. It's about half that, but we just put that in for good measure. Every single vehicle that SmartBox programs is on our YouTube channel, and your techs and whoever else is programming this stuff, they can watch a video to get a little bit of confidence prior to doing that job. And our price is $1,699. And 4, 5, 6 years ago, this was unheard of. This was a $15,000 machine, easy. Now, to the good part, how is ARD going to increase your gross profits? Well, it's a complete solution for all your dealership key and fob needs. So if you're a Ford dealer, you're used to programming just Ford and Lincoln. So this is going to open up our entire catalog to the dealerships. So whether it's Mazda, Nissan, Lexus, Toyota, GM, Ford, it's going to be able to do all 95% of the vehicles on the road there. When we can utilize that through mobile apps, they're quick and easy. Our training app is right on there. They can go through that at any given point in time. And all of ARD's apps are iPhone and Android compatible. And last but not least, our orphan key program. So most dealerships do have that old box of fobs. You can collect them. 10 or more fobs, we'll send you a prepaid shipping label. Everything comes into our facility under video, kind of like the cash room in a casino. So if there's ever a question of what was sent in, it's broken down by different makes, models, and types, whether it's a smart key or a remote key. And then we pay you. We pay you that day. Or we put store credit into your account towards future keys or the tools, depending upon where you're at in our system here. So basically, we're helping you turn your trash into cash.
Excellent. Dan, so interesting. And the key technology continues to advance, and you've made great advancements yourself and made it affordable for the dealers. I know that one of our dealers who spoke earlier today, Ed Roberts from Bozard Ford Lincoln, where he's having his grand opening today, is joining us. And Ed, first of all, welcome back to the Fix Ops Roundtable.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
And I think you have a question or two for Dan.
Yes, I wanted to reach out there. I was just listening as well and jotted down a couple of things. And obviously, not all dealerships are losing keys or selling vehicles at the same rate. At what point does it make sense to start bringing this in-house?
You know, that's a great question. We've figured out that sweet spot is right around 10 key fobs a month. You know, if you look at that, the average price of a mobile company would charge a dealership like yours, their used car department, about $200. So if you're looking at that $2,000, liability there, you're able to capture about 60% in profit margin. You know, the tools are so easy to use. We could take your receptionist and have her cutting and programming keys in literally about 45 minutes. So really what we're doing with that is that sweet spot there accounts to, some decent gross for fixed ops.
Right. So we're taking an expense, lessening the expense, and then turning some of it into gross as well.
Exactly.
Awesome. One more question. We all know how daunting key cutting can be in a dealership. How does ARD's machine make dealers key cutting easy and more efficient? Well, you kind of answered some of that already, but elaborate a little bit more. You talked about doing it with the receptionist.
Well, it's a whole lot more capable and easy to use. So each one of our key fobs comes with a QR code on it and our SKU. And you're just hitting one cut by bidding button, typing in our SKU. It tells you where to line up the key, and you hit decode to trace or duplicate, and then cut. It's really a 3 or 4 step system, depending upon if it's an all keys lost situation or a duplicate, duplication scenario. It's the most capable key cutter on the planet, and plus the easiest. And at that point, it's the least expensive. So your dealerships, like yourselves, are used to paying $12,000 to $15,000 for a key cutter. Ours is $3,500, and it's very, very simple to use. Along with our support, we've got 7-day tech support.
You're checking all the boxes.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Ed Roberts from Bozard Ford Lincoln, thank you so much. We'll let you get back to your grand opening. I know you got a busy schedule this afternoon.
It's been crazy.
Thanks so much, Ed. We appreciate it.
Yep.
Great stuff, Ed. And Dan, thank you so much. Dan Drews from Auto Remote Direct. Dan's contact information is in the virtual event program. You can find him there. It'll hot link right to ARD, and you can reach out to Dan as well. So Dan, thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you very much, guys.
And now welcoming back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable, the reigning champion of the Best Practice Award. She's right here, Nicole Ruiz. Nicole, welcome back.
Thank you so much. I love your event. It's the best in business. So thank you so much for having me.
Nicole, you stole the show at the last Fix Ops Roundtable. And I got to tell you, I personally didn't know a whole lot about Carmen and about AI and about all the things that, that Carmen does. And she's a very, very innovative part of the Fixed Ops Roundtable now. So Nicole Ruiz is the Vice President of Sales and Marketing at Carmen. And Nicole, without further ado, welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Thank you, Ted and Jean, so much for having me on the roundtable. And I am so excited to go through Carmen again. So what makes Carmen different? What is Carmen? Carmen is an AI machine learning personal vehicle assistant. We help the customer with their scheduling, and we also help them maintain and retain that car until we get to step 6, which would be upgrading that customer into a different vehicle, upgrading that lease. Okay, so what we're going to go over today is time. Why do we do this? And that's because of this step number 2, process automation. Many other industries have leveraged process automation to gain back time so they can give the customer the experience that they crave. One of the key takeaways of what we do is we actually write the RO. So from step 1 to step 4, all the customer has to do is hand someone their keys and their car will now be serviced. And so that is how we're going to achieve giving the dealership some time back. And I also want to show you what that means to your bottom line. Okay, so why do we focus on time? 83% of our customers book their appointment online, just like they do for the airlines. So what we need to do then is, why are we in auto only at 20% of our customers booking online? Okay, so there's a massive gap in between what that customer does in the airlines and what they do in our industry. And we want to bridge that gap together. The next point, 25.2 million people use the Starbucks app, and 40% of those people pay on that app. 67% of people prefer self-service over speaking to someone else, right? They want to be able to do this transaction on their own. And 25% of all customers have already interacted with AI or machine learning technology. And that stat was from 2018. Okay, so traditional service, when we only focus on our processes and what makes it easier for us, does not correlate to today's market. In today's market, the customer is center. Okay, Amazon, for example, built their entire process around what the customer wants, and they want to be number 1 in customer service, which has resulted into a $1 trillion company. Right? Grubhub, for example, we bring the food to you. Quik Pay, I'm not sure if you've used Apple Quik Pay yet. It is so simple. When you buy things online, your address automatically appears. And Peloton gives you the ability to work out whenever you want at your own time and take a class. And Southwest, right? Southwest, in their model, puts the customer at the heart of them. So how can we take these trends that are going on in the industry and correlate them to auto, so we can put our customer at the center of our processes? And that's what we really focused on doing here at Carmen. Okay. Multi-channel reservation is first. So we're going to take the reservation process. We're going to give you a widget that you could have on your website, but also take it a step further. And why don't we prompt and text the customer a link to book online when they're due for their service visit, or maybe it's a recall, and they have this experience straight from their mobile device. Okay, so Carmen has prompted me to enter my phone number. Once I enter my phone number, we're going to do a quick pull into the DMS. It's going to show me my vehicle. And next, it's going to predict, hey, these are the miles that we think you're at. Now we're going to break it up into 2 processes, very simple. Is it a maintenance or is it concern? Maintenance, because Carmen knows the miles. She knows exactly what to present to the customer based on the OEM needs. And next, we're going to do a concern. These are set up with your shop foreman, exactly what the customer tends to come in for, what could be a possible concern. It asked me if I wanted to do pickup and delivery. Right now, I'm not going to. I'm just going to select my preferred advisor, select my date. Now, if I did pick up and delivery, we would skip that advisor part because time is more important in that case to that customer. We broke it down by the quarter hour. All of this is customizable based on your dealership's needs. Will I be waiting for my car at the dealership? No. Do you need alternative transportation? Yes. If you're not using Uber, it's a great way to cut down on those loaner expenses. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And now I'm going to confirm this appointment. And this very last question is one of the most important. Would I like to have my vehicle appraised while in service? So I mentioned in the very beginning, just a touch, but a full cycle is really retaining that customer. Okay, that is extremely important all the way through the life cycle into that next vehicle. Right, here we go. So this next one, I got a text message, and that text message, we took a page from the airlines here, allows me to check in. So that very first step, redoing that process of booking, will save you at least 10 minutes per phone call of having to reach out to that customer, ask them what's going on with their vehicle, input that information, maybe place them on hold. We're trying to save you time in that particular moment. With your BDC, with your advisors, get that 20% number to look something more like 80%. The next step, straight from the airlines, is to get the customer to check in on their own. This is that 67% of customers that prefer to manage this process. This in itself will save you 7.5 manual hours per day. So Carmen now asks me, okay, tell me more about your concerns. Is the issue with the main breaker emergency? Is there a noise? What kind of noise? And we prompt the customer the questions. So someone like me, I can easily answer this because I know that this is speaking my language. But let's say one of you are taking your car in, you speak fluent tech, so you could go in here and you could enter a little more detail about what's going on with your car. Now, this next question, is there anything else you'd like to add? Is an open forum for the customer to add any additional work. Right here, I can recommend some additional services. One of the most important parts of what we do, this is where the AI shines. She's gonna predict based on miles that this customer has been driving, based on trends in the industry, and weather. She'll analyze the weather, and based on those, she'll predict certain services that I can choose. So naturally, the customer will upsell themselves 30%. And the very last step is to sign this, because if we are creating the RO, we need that signature. But the one thing that we need, whether we go and pick up this vehicle ourselves, that's step number 3, which is our remote process. All your drivers will have this app on their phone. This app is in geofence, so we know exactly where this driver's at, and you can see it in my background here on your dashboard. Let's say we get that vehicle, the process stays the same. Whether we're at the dealership or we're at the customer's house, we do the same thing. What we're gonna do is we're gonna scan that VIN. And what scanning that VIN does allows us to know that vehicle now is in your possession. Once we get the exact miles, we tell Carmen, hey, go up to that cloud, get all that data we just got and release it to your DMS. This is for CDK and DealerTrack only. We will actually send that RO to print, okay? Huge savings right there. That's also your video walk around. Saves you, you guys all know the power of a walk around video. It saves you countless dollars and it helps you bond and connect with that customer. Now, step 5 is going to be, step 6 is going to be connect. So we go from our Carmen process and we actually play nice with everyone in the sandbox. So I'm going to present to you Quik, which is our sister company that does all of the in-lane technology, okay? In-lane technology. The benefit of combining these two is the result in 54% increase in the ASRs, okay? So additional services recommended. Now, at this point, at the dealership, I didn't have to call and talk to anyone. When I checked in, I didn't have to sit there and explain what was going on because I already told Carmen and everything I said was translated onto the RO. Okay, so from here now, Quik immediately, once that RO is open, sends the customer a text and lets them know, hey, throughout this visit, you could text me or you will receive a video and explains what's gonna happen. Again, 0 man hours have been used, right? This is the automated process. So from here, next, we're going to send a video. Quik is known for their videos. And why is that? They have an 80% of all ROs have a video on it. 80%. Most companies out there are doing 10%, but there is a quick difference because we don't just create technology, guys, we install a process. And our trainers are the best of the business, have been fixed ops directors, have been technicians, and that really makes a difference when you're convincing a technician to spend the time to take a video. So I want to talk about some of the objections that we hear because that is one of them is time. Okay, how can we save more time? So this particular feature is our P&A multi-point inspection. So parts and availability match with the multi-point inspection, and at the very top of this is a video. So if I want to create a full touchless service, I need to have something like this in place because now my customer gets a video explaining what's going on, and then followed by an MPI with the price. They could just click and approve. And within 3 minutes, when a customer receives a link to pay their bill online, statistically, we see within 3 minutes that bill is paid. Okay, so talking about time, faster quotes equals faster authorization. We see a 7-hour per tech per week decrease. Okay, so your tech gets 7 hours back versus waiting, having that car on the lift, taking it out. You guys know the drill. So the next is our retention. This is the last Carmen step. There is 6 different things that we really do to focus on the customer. The one that's not mentioned here is recalls. Okay, so going play by play, we're going to do auto reminders. That's going to be anytime a customer does make an appointment, you saw that's going to be a confirmation text, 72-hour reminder, 24-hour check-in, and even if they still haven't checked in within 1 hour, they'll be prompted to check in. Okay. Next is going to be any decline services. Our decline services really help make a difference and send that video back to that customer. Right? Lease upgrade is huge, and an auto thank you message. Right after, we're going to thank them. And not only that, we're going to survey the customers once a month who received a video and ask them, hey, did you like that video? And if they give you 5 stars, we push them to a Google review. So you will see an increase in your Google reviews. Benefit for you as the dealership, 90% of customers screen calls and do not answer a phone call. But 95% of customers check a text within 5 minutes. So if we can automatically do all of your retention pieces, that will save you at least 10 man hours a day. And how we look at these numbers, this is the traditional way of doing business. We just looked at 50 ROs a day. Right? 50 ROs a day, you're spending about 56 hours doing manual tasks such as calling and confirming appointments. And once you put that process in, you could see the Carmen automation process, you could see the hour shift. Okay, and what we see is a 37% in manual hours given back to the dealership per day. That saves you almost 40% man hours. Okay, and what does that mean to you? That means that now you can use those people to grow. You can do pickup and delivery. You absolutely can do a video because you know the technician video will result you from going from 30% ASRs to 54% ASRs. I cannot preach those 2 things enough. And the pushback that I hear from my dealers is I don't have time. Well, guess what? What if I can give you time? What if we can create time? And it's not saying you need to fire all your employees. That's not our message. But can you shift your employees? Can we get more porters, right, to do the things that our customer needs, that puts them first? Okay, that is the message. Can we match our industry to the other industries that are out there, such like the airlines? Right here, this very last screen is showing us what it looks like to use Carmen. We have an internal dashboard. We also have a check-in kiosk. And this kiosk is just on a tablet. Your customer comes, maybe they haven't checked in, no problem, enter their phone number. They can go through the question tree on their own. And we do have an app for your porters. Quick sneak peek of what we are doing in the future. It is all about connected cars. It is all about voice. Carmen is built with that same technology. And that is one thing I want to tell you, get excited because the future of technology for auto is here. So thank you so much. Always a pleasure. Love being with you too. And look forward to seeing you soon.
Nicole Ruiz, Vice President of Sales and Marketing at Carmen. Nicole, thank you so much. Well, as always, right on the money.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, Ted, that was great. And we just heard from Nicole and we heard from Dan at ARD and a lot about technology. And we're going to continue that trend now with Russ, Mann, and Permashield and a technology that I think every single person in America should have on their cars.
So Russ, Permashield USA, you are taking the world by storm. You are the talk of the town. Your product is innovative and different. And you know what? It's needed right now for consumers as well as dealers. So the floor is yours.
We certainly appreciate the opportunity, Ted. We're going to talk a little bit about what we do to set up a dealer, how we process that, what's the best fit for them. Do a lot of different things before we really get into a slide and some video that we have for you today. But when we go into and talk to a dealership, what we're really trying to do is get it to get Permashield to be the best possible fit for them, right? There's so many different ways that Permashield can be advantageous to a dealer in terms of their customer experience, in terms of their gross profit, in terms of everything that a dealership's pain point could possibly be. Permashield probably has a spot to fill that and a spot to really take that pain point away for them. So we ask all kinds of different questions. Industry average obviously is about 7 or 8% on customer tire retention. We know at 18 and 36 months, it's a real challenge in the service bays. We talk about that. We talk about avoiding flat tires in general allows the consumer to come back to the dealer. You get a flat tire, the first thing a customer is doing is the nearest space, right? Nearest place, nearest anyone that can help them with that flat tire, whether it be roadside assistance or when roadside assistance arrives, getting them to the exact fastest way, and they only do it in the cheapest way and do all those things. How many units a month do you sell? What's your RO count in the drive? What is your ultimately what is you the addendums? When you go to addendums, do you use addendums on your stickers? What's the current sales process if you do use them in your state? When you have that sales process on used vehicles, do you have a white labeled CPO? Is it your own CPO or is it the manufacturer's CPO? That's a big deal because you can push Permashield right into that certified pre-owned program.
And Russ, if you don't mind, if I can say, these days with compressed margins that dealers are working with, your product makes all the difference with a whole new profit center that they have been overlooking up until this time. So you opened the door for all that. I'm sorry, I just wanted to add that.
Oh, no, that's a great point. And it's actually the first thing I talk about on the initial slide. It's about $400 per unit in lost gross profit, not lost revenue, not profit, right? The thing that makes the dealership go around. So great question. And then of course, lease penetration. Lease penetration, when I talked to a store just the other day, their lease penetration was 60%. 60% of all the new vehicles that they sell aren't going past 3 years, right? So what better spot than to put in Permashield and get that $400 back, right? So keeping all that in mind, we'll go through a slide presentation. We'll go through a quick video and give you a kind of a sense of what it is that we really talk about and how we do it. And then Ted, just like you talked about, dealer profits are compressed. We know that since 2017, dealers are desperately trying to figure out ways to get that $400 in gross profit per vehicle back. Many dealers, they've heard all the same old stuff, the same old products. It's just a different spin on it. Oh, we're going to do this, but it's still appearance package, right? It's still something else that the end consumer doesn't see value in. But on average, 7 tire punctures occur in every second in the United States. That's 220 million of them a year. Every single one of your consumers has experienced a flat tire. They've experienced the pain. They've experienced the frustration and all the things that come along with it. And to go along and to add on top of it, 33% of all the new vehicles sold today don't even have a spare tire. You don't even have anything to change, right? It's a tow. 20% of the drivers out there today don't even know how to change it if they did have a flat tire. 27% of all roadside emergencies are tire related. Nearly a third of everything, every time someone calls roadside assistance, it's tire related. And of course, the one thing that we really try to very hard every day to solve is 12% of those pedestrian accidents on the highway are fatal. So keeping all those things in mind, what we really want to talk about now is what is the product really built to do? How's it built? How's it made? It is the only permanent tire sealant that eliminates the flat tire, of course. It is tire pressure monitor system friendly. Does not affect the tire pressure monitor system, and it doesn't create a chronic vibration. Okay, no tire pressure monitor issues, no chronic vibration, and of course seals the flats every time. And when it does that, how it does that is it seals it up to 1/4 of an inch size hole. Okay, they won't get stranded if they get a puncture, a nail, a screw, a piece of metal, a thorn, a mesquite thorn in West Texas. All those things aren't affected and solved by using Permashield. And then the product is water soluble. It's easy cleanup. The traditional sealants, right? They're all full of nasty, sticky glues and petroleum-based products. Ours is non-adhesive, and it allows the customer to have, and the tire technician to never have to deal with that crazy sticky mess. And then it's, of course, TPMS monitor system safe. We guarantee that it won't affect the tire pressure monitor. And then here's the big thing. This is what really separates Permashield from everybody else. Not only the water soluble and the non-adhesive, but
Kevlar.
DuPont Kevlar. Yeah.
Russ, they put that in like bulletproof vests. Nothing's getting through that.
Yeah. Right. So if DuPont Kevlar, and we use DuPont's Kevlar, we don't use a generic, it can stop a bullet. Well, gosh, it can certainly seal my tire, right? That's kind of the process that we went through. It's one of the strongest materials known to man. It's absolutely a game-changing ingredient to what Permashield really does. And we guarantee it. We guarantee 100% that we will repair or replace the tire if you get a puncture in it up to 1/4 of an inch and your tire goes flat. Okay? No one does that. I'll say it again, 100% guarantee. We will pay or repair the tire if the product fails and you end up with a flat tire somewhere. Because that's what we're saying, is that our product is so revolutionary, we guarantee you that it won't create a flat. Okay. Now, what's in it ultimately for the customer, right? This is the part that everyone has experienced and everyone has felt. They've caught a tire or they've caught a nail in their tire on their way home from work on a Tuesday. Wednesday morning, they come out, it's flat. Right? They can't get their kids to school on time. They can't get to work on time. Now they've wasted at least 2 hours, because roadside assistance in the United States takes approximately 2 hours on average to get to you and help you, regardless if it's tire or any other issue. So they've wasted a morning. So what's in it for the customer? We save them time. We have better convenience. If you discover that you have a nail or something, an object in your tire's not going flat. If you want to get it checked out, we send you back to the dealership. We send them right back to the dealership. So at their convenience, they can deal with it, right? But they can leave it in. It's really totally up to them. And then, of course, the safety factor. We never want to be stuck on the interstate during rush hour or not, and having the inability to change a tire with cars going by at 70 miles an hour, or have a flat tire and not even have a spare and have to sit there and wait. And make sure that everybody around you is paying attention. So What's really in it for the customer is we save them time, we create convenience for them, and then of course, overall, Ted, we give them safety. Not being stuck on the side of the road so that they're put in a dangerous situation. Okay. So with that being said, I'll run a video.
If I can, that peace of mind, that this product brings is a huge selling feature as well.
It is. Oh yeah, I'm gonna use that line from here on out. It's peace of mind. I'm gonna put it in my slide next time. So it's peace of mind, right? We create the understanding that a customer isn't going to have to deal with those things. Peace of mind. Yeah, that's great, Ted. Thanks. So we'll go through a little video so that you can see the product in action, and then we'll sum it up and go from there.
With Permashield USA. Wanted to give you the results of a test that we've been doing today. So we bought a brand new Michelin tire, put 10 nails in it. You can see here they are staggered throughout the tread area, all back up in top of the tire here. Put about 41 pounds of pressure in it, and we've driven about 10 to 12 miles now. It only takes a couple miles for it to activate, but we went ahead and drove a little bit farther just to make sure, since we did have so many nails in it. But you can see here, no bubbling. We could put a little bit more suds on the top here. And you can see that all of the nails have sealed. And just to double check the pressure here, we put this on one of our spare rims. We'll go ahead and do the digital pressure gauge. And it is 40.5. So basically right at where we inflated it. It is a little cold, so some of the pressure will drop, so we let the car sit. But basically we've got 10 nails in here. We'll let this sit for a while and go test drive it again, and maybe get a few more nails in there just for sport. For this brief video to show something interesting that's happened after we did the final suds test on this deck screw here. I actually wanted to go get a cup of coffee, so I jumped in this vehicle, drove to the store, got a cup of coffee, and came back to the shop. As I pulled in the shop, I got out to look at the tire one last time, and I noticed this. If you look closely here, you'll see that this is the hole from one of the original 10 nails. What has happened is, as I went to go get my coffee and came back, at some point in the trip, one of the nails worked its way out of the tire. And now you can see that the sealant is plugging this hole. So the air pressure inside the tire is pushing the sealant out through that hole that was left when the nail worked its way out. So you can see a couple little bubbles here. That's the sealant. And so what's going to happen now in a few minutes is this will dry. And especially if you're driving and the tire gets hot and you're on hot pavement, it dries even quicker, forming that permanent seal and that permanent plug. So now we have a total of 9 nails, 1 screw, and a sealed nail hole.
See how clean the rim is? See how clean the rim is? Now, did any of the Permashield in the tire get on you? Did any of the Permashield get all over your equipment?
So now that video shows us the opportunity and the nails and what it really looks like to be inside the tire. Pretty cool stuff. I like the video personally. So ultimately, what's in it for the dealer, right? What we're going to do is we're going to create a non-cancelable product. Once it's in the tire, it can't be taken out and reused. There's virtually no upfront cost to the dealer. So they can get started with very little money and be able to put this in their service drive. They'd be able to put it in their F&I office. They can preload it. And what it does is it adds real value to the car deal. Ultimately, every single customer, like we've talked about, has experienced a flat tire. It's a differentiator, right? There's nothing like it in the market. And we've recently been approved, and it is patented in the United States Patent and Trademark Office. So it is really a revolutionary product that is completely different than anything else. It's going to increase your profits for all the departments, the parts department, the service department, as well as the sales department. It's a no mess, non-stick, non-flammable, easy storage, easy process. And then especially with run flat tires, it works outstanding. As you know, Ted, with run flats, you can go 50 miles and up to 50 miles an hour, but ultimately it ruins the tire because of the pressure that it puts on the sidewall without not having any air in it. Permashield seals that. So the tire pressure stays in it. So the run flat portion of the tire never has to go into effect. And if under certain circumstances, you not only have to replace the tire that's gone flat, you have to replace the opposing wheel based on tread depth. So it's a big deal when it comes to run flats. It'll increase the customer's ability to save money. Of course, it's easy install. It's a perfect preload product. We put it right into the PDI process. Simple and straightforward, only takes a few minutes. And then remote delivery selling, right? Really give an opportunity, since every single customer's experienced the flat tire, when we're selling under today's circumstances, that touch-free, touchless sales process really gets enhanced and gives us the ability to sell more Permashield because everyone's experienced it. They understand and know and want to never have that flat tire. They want that peace of mind like you talked about, Ted, right? It obviously increases customer retention. We know at the 18-month mark, they're going to need at least 2 tires. If they're Permashield protected, and especially if they had a nail or a puncture or something go inside that tire and it worked, guess where they're going to come to buy their tires? You're going to get that first shot as a dealership. And then a high product penetration. Ultimately, we think in the finance office, even without preload, you can get upwards of a 50% penetration because the product is designed to complement what you already do in the finance office. It's not designed to take over your tire and wheel program. It's not designed to take over your roadside assistance or VSCs. We suggest that you bundle them together. Bundle it together with an appearance package. Bundle them together with your VSC or your tire and wheel. Create real value for a customer. We know historically tire and wheel is about a 30% product penetration. Well, if you add Permashield to the top of it, you can also peel Permashield off of it. So that's 70% of all those other customers. Now you have another shot at making some more gross profit and getting another product into the customer's portfolio. So great product overall, lots of good things for the dealer, and really gives them the opportunity to make more profit, gives the customer the peace of mind that you talked about. I told you I was going to use that line a whole lot now.
I hear you using it all the time now, yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's my favorite line now.
And by the way, Russ, from the dealer's point of view, this non-cancelable product, that's the buzzword right now because that's what dealers are looking for. So you've got that here, and like you said, the differentiator, and it adds all this value to the deal, to the car, and to the dealer.
Yeah, because I mean, what we're trying to replace, what we talked about in the very beginning, was compressed profit. They've lost $400 a car, every car. I mean, do that, and if you multiply that out times 200 units, Permashield can add another $1 million in gross profit to your dealership every year. So it's no small feat here. This stuff adds up. The profit adds up. The customer retention adds up. Over time, Permashield is a revolutionary product that's going to make a world of difference in your dealership. There's no doubt in my mind. Not only for the customer experience, but for your dealership's profits in the end. Again, $1 million. If you sell 200 units a month, think about preloading 200 units a month. At the 18-month mark, all those 200 unit customers that have sold cars that you sold cars to in the first place are looking for tires, right? 36-month mark, they're looking for tires again, right? When they get that big fixed op drop off at the end of the warranty period, they're in your dealership looking for tires because Permashield has worked for them. So that's essentially what I got today. Any other questions or chat pieces, or I'll be here answering in the chat for the rest of the afternoon. I love the stuff that we've come up with so far, Ted. The roundtable has been excellent so far, and I'm grateful to be here. I certainly look forward to the rest of the afternoon.
Russ Mann from Permashield USA here at the Fixed Ops Roundtable with one of the most innovative products that we've seen. Russ, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ted. I appreciate it very much.
Hey, yo, it's Sylvester Stallone. You know, I've been waiting for my turn to say a few things to my friends at the greatest show. You know, it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. And you know what? You're all winners in my book. And next, we get to hear from some of the biggest winners ever for 29 years in a row at Galpin Ford, led by Beau Boeckmann, and then the author of The Theory of Five from Kelly Automotive Group, Chris Saraceno, and a man after my own rising grind heart, Glenn Lundy. Yo, Adrian, we did it, yo.
Do you have a great product you want to get in front of auto dealers across the country, and specifically their fixed ops departments? You know, their service, parts, and body shop. For over 15 years, Fixed Ops Magazine has been putting service-related products like yours in front of franchise auto dealers across the country. There simply is no better way to reach every dealer in the USA all at once. Hi, I'm Ron, the publisher of Fixed Ops Magazine, which is both a digital at fixedopsmag.com and print magazine that reaches out to over 38,000 subscribers who influence what products are purchased in the over 16,000 dealers across the country. Fixed Ops Magazine may even publish your article about a topic you are an expert and have a real passion for in this industry. Every article has the author's contact info so they can reach you. Write an article, run an ad, and an e-blast. We call that our bundle for success. You won't believe how great a deal it is. So to get started, call, text, or email me and I'll tell you more. We are 100% devoted to the franchise stores so we don't waste your time or money. We are laser focused on your prospects. Fixed Ops Magazine, the #1 way to get your product in front of auto dealers today. www.fixedopsmag.com. Ron at fixedopsmag.com. 714-803-5476. Fixed Ops Magazine, the #1 way to get your product in front of auto dealers today.
Ben Price Live at Home is back and also available on demand.
Wait, a case of Corona? And I get to sit here on the couch and watch TV for 2 whole months and do nothing? Woohoo! It's so exciting.
And they're doing homeschool online, and it's great. You know, we're getting to sleep in, and they're doing really well. They're getting like A+, 100% on most things, just about everything. And I'm a little bit concerned when they do go back. Like, who's going to give them all the right answers then?
Yeah.
I mean, I've survived in the Kimberleys in Australia. I've survived in the jungles of Sumatra. I've even survived in IKEA. I was in there for 3 days and I got out alive.
We had a great time watching it, laughed all the way through. The impressions were spot on. Go watch it. It's highly, highly recommended.
Man, it was awesome. Recommend this. Go watch it. Do yourself a favor. Watch Ben Price Live at Home.
For tickets, go to benpricecomedy.com.
Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Gene Girdley. And Ted, we have with us now one of the leaders in our industry for quite a long time.
That's right, Gene. Beau Boeckmann is the president of Galpin Motors in Van Nuys, California. Galpin Ford is the #1 Ford dealer in the world for the last 29 consecutive years. And last year, Galpin was the #1 brand in sales in California in every one of their brands, as well as top 10 in the nation. Beau Boeckmann is probably best known beginning in 2006 when he opened Galpin Autosports Gas. And that became a whole new phase of the Galpin dynasty, leading to the #1 rated automotive show and worldwide phenomenon, Pimp My Ride, which catapulted Galpin Autosports to stardom. And that passion continues today with Beau's latest TV show on the Discovery Channel, Car Kings. Beau Boeckmann, welcome to the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Well, great. Thank you so much, Ted. It's an honor to be here today. Let me correct you on one thing. I'm actually best known for being Bert Boeckmann's son. So that's what I'm best known for, carrying on the legacy, hopefully well at Galpin Motors. So honored to be here with you today. So thank you.
Well, every time, we publish an article and we mention Galpin or talk about the Galpin family, there are so many accolades that people just, organically come out and tell us, people who work there at your organization, or people who may have worked there in the past, or people who are customers, and people who are stalwarts in the community. So the name is revered for sure.
Oh, well, thank you. I think, we've been really blessed with the example that my father and mother have given the organization. And that's what we look for in all of our people, is that servant's mentality. People that are here to genuinely serve our customers, people that truly care about our customers' needs and wants, as well as our employees. And I think that's that sincerity and honesty that has earned us a very good reputation, and why we continue for that today. So it's that, I think that good moral character and trying to do the right thing on behalf. And we work hard. We're competitive. We're always challenging ourselves to get better. So I'm very proud of our organization and what we've achieved. It's obviously not a few people. It's everybody working together.
I've heard the phrase coined, America's most respected and honored automotive dealership family, Galpin.
Oh, well, thank you.
Tell our viewers a little bit about an overview of the organization. How many dealerships, how many employees, just a little bit there.
Well, geez, we started in 1946, just after World War II, started by Frank Galpin. My father actually started there as a salesperson in 1953 and, worked his way up. His first manager job was a manager of Edsel, modern Edsel was called. So he started off right away with a tough job. But his attitude as a salesperson, as a manager, and an owner has been very consistent. And that is, first, he's the most honest man I've ever known in my life. Second, he's the hardest working person I've ever met as well, which is still tough to keep up with. And third, like I mentioned, is the most important. That is, he sincerely cares for every customer that walks in the door, sincerely cares for every employee that we have at the organization. So that's my example that I've had, and I lead with that example as well. And you could also call that love. We have a genuine love for our customers and our employees. And with that, we've been blessed to really grow. You mentioned, each of our franchises being successful in our areas. We've grown. A lot of them are the previous Ford PAG. So we've got Ford, Lincoln, Volvo, Aston Martin, Jaguar. We're taking on Land Rover coming up at the beginning of next year. We also have Mazda, Volkswagen, and we just opened a Porsche store, which is really exciting. So we're blessed with some wonderful brands. We also have Lotus, as well as Galpin Autosports, our customizing division. And then we also do studio rentals. So we're involved in a whole myriad of things in the automobile business, and feel blessed to be a part of it.
Not to mention the horseless carriage restaurant. I've had many a meal.
Oh, of course, America's first in-dealership restaurant. It's not just a restaurant to have a restaurant. Our chef is phenomenal. He came from the Beverly Hills Hotel. We do catering, so our food is phenomenal. We also have the first full service Starbucks, which we're expanding as well. So we try to make it an experience when people come to Galpin. It's not just there for a transaction. We try to make it enjoyable. You know, people talk about trying to make it a painless experience to come to a dealership. Well, painless is like being numb. It doesn't hurt, but doesn't feel good either. We want to have an enjoyable experience when people come to Galpin. When they service their car, if they want to come in for a meal, we want that meal to be fantastic, to be the best breakfast or lunch or dinner that they can get anywhere. Come in and get a Starbucks full service, frappuccinos, whatever they're looking for. We're trying to get it now where we can deliver it anywhere on campus. So anywhere they want one, we can have it at the push of a button, trying some new things. So try to make the experience not just painless, but actually enjoyable to come in and service their car, to buy a car, whatever their experience is with Galpin. So like I said, it's the people that make it. So we're blessed to just have some really wonderful people here.
And you've got some great processes in place too. I remember going to the lot where you have your inventory and how buttoned down everything is there and meticulous, and you know how vehicles were checked on the way in and on the way out, and just keeping track of all these moving parts. You've got a lot going on there.
Yeah, well, cleanliness has always been the utmost importance to my father and our family. You know, he's all about making sure everything looks immaculate and is clean, kind of like that Disneyland example. Actually, his stepfather was one of the original architects at Disneyland, and there's a lot of a lot of similarities that we have in Galpin. In fact, there's early Galpin pictures when Disney would come over and do events with us. You think about, wow, that blows your mind, actually having the real Disney come along. And actually, they were trying to promote Disneyland at Galpin, if you could believe, that. Now they're one of the largest companies in the world. Just our little dealership, they would come and visit. So, things like cleanliness, making it fun. We have Galpinized vehicles, which are custom vehicles, so that when you come to Galpin, you're going to see vehicles you wouldn't see at any other dealership or anywhere else. Try to make it a fun, enjoyable experience for people. Well organized. There's something about saying when cars are parked just perfectly, there's something that, makes you feel good, especially if you got OCD or something like that. When you see those organized line and the better processes we have in place, it makes it easier for us to do a better job and to make sure that they're focused on the customer and not focused on having to deal with problems as they arise. So processes are absolutely key in making sure that we follow them, get people properly trained, so that most importantly, that they can focus on that customer experience and making sure that we're serving our customers in the way that not only they want to be served, but hopefully even exceeding their expectations, right?
Beau, you've been in the car business your whole life. And you've been at the helm of Galpin for what, a little over 6 years now? Is that right?
That's about right, yeah.
How would you say your leadership has enabled Galpin not only to maintain that brand, but to grow the brand as well?
Well, I can't say it's any particular to my leadership. I try to take the example that my father has given and my mother has given, and lead it with a servant's leadership idea as well. And I'm just blessed. We've got a wonderful executive team that are very like-minded people. And as long as we're keeping the focus in the right area, and that is obviously on the customer first and foremost. Secondly, on our employees, because our happy employees will lead to happy customers as well. If we focus on doing the right things, not just the easy things, but sometimes the right things are really difficult and really hard. And if you can do that, then I think we'll be successful. An example of that, I think, would be COVID. When this all happened, we actually took a step to close down early. We closed down before we were mandated to do so. And we did that out of an abundance of caution for our employees and customers. Because we were scared. We didn't know what was coming and what the right thing to do was, but the safety and security of our people was paramount. So we did something, we shut down, and then we got to work. And we worked very hard to think about, okay, when we're going to reopen, how do we do it so that our customers not only feel safe, but are safe? Our employees, not only that they feel safe, but they are safe. we got out, one of the very first machines that actually could clean out the service cars when they came in, so that before we opened, we had a way to statically clean those cars so that we knew the virus would not get passed along. And then we felt comfortable that we could open that part off. And then before we did anything, we really focused on making sure we could clean everything properly and take all the proper procedures so that when we reopened, we were ready for it. We were really ready for it. And to that point, we had just about every news team out in Los Angeles come out and interview us on our processes of what we were doing. I had, our competitors call me and ask me, hey, Beau, what are you doing over there? And I'm happy to share that because, that's not a competitive advantage. That's the safety of human beings. And that's, just the way, Volvo gave away their seatbelt technology, right? I just said, we're just going to share everything that we're doing because that's the right thing to do because we want to make sure people are safe and secure. And I think that really, once we opened up, it put us in a position where people felt safer coming to Galpin. We have larger showrooms so we can spread out. We have nice outdoor areas so we can spread out. And we really made sure in that service process, to your point about really having the processes nailed down, that everybody knew exactly what they were doing to make sure that we could keep people safe and secure. So I think by putting our customers and employees first, it actually then led us that we did open up, but we really opened up well. Our market share grew considerably, and our business has been, as good as I could hope for and pray for during this horrible pandemic. If you do the right thing, in my opinion, it may be difficult at the time, but I think the right things will then come your way. First you give, and then you're ready to receive. That's my opinion.
I love it. You mentioned having the emphasis on giving the customers more than they expect. And I love that. And I know it's part of the Galpin story that, giving the customer more than they expect involves every single facet of Galpin operations. So how do you ensure everybody on the Galpin team embraces your vision and delivers that consistently to customers?
It firstly comes with training, but it comes before that. It's about hiring the right people with that right same servant's mentality attitude and making it very clear from the hiring process of the type of person we're looking for and the type of person we're not looking for. And we find, because we do have a consistent character within our organization, that the people that sneak through the interview process, they don't tend to make it very long because they're found out very quickly, if they're talking one way and then act a different way. So it all starts with the hiring process, making sure we get the right people in there. And then it's about consistency, making sure we're doing the right things, every time. Do we screw up? Of course we do. We employ human beings. I screw up. We all make mistakes. For us, the key is, first of all, we want to not repeat our mistakes. That's very important. Something my dad taught me. You're allowed to do it. You're allowed to mess up once, and just not the same way twice. And second, making sure that if they do something really that's morally wrong or against our character, that's not somebody that we can really tolerate within our organization. So it's not only having the right foundation, but making sure you stick to it consistently. And sometimes you got to say goodbye to someone that might do a good job, but doesn't have the right, character. And that can be very difficult to do sometimes. That's our philosophy. It's every day. Dave Anderson, who does leadership training for us, who I just love and think the world of, I love his quote, every day means every day. You just do it every day.
There's been a lot of emphasis during the course of our event today on the focus on fixed operations and how that's going to be a growing and become an even more significant part of the retail automotive business. Do you agree with that? And if so, how is Galpin preparing for that growth in fixed?
Absolutely, wholeheartedly agree with that. I would say we were a very sales-focused organization. Not that we weren't focused in service. In fact, our service manager, I call him our first service manager, Ron Hornaday, who became a manager when my dad became a manager, just did a wonderful job leading the shop. He was our NASCAR driver you know, you had a NASCAR team fix your car when you came into Galpin service back in the 60s. You know, it was a pretty cool thing that to be able to say. So, you know, our sales like skyrocketed. It went absolutely crazy. And you can get distracted by that very easily. And my focus is really in fixed ops. That is our present and it's our future as well. There's a lot of things you can do online, but you can't fix your car online. You know, you can get updates, and, you know, we're going to see more and more of updates, and those things happen in the convenience of your home and try to make things easier on people. But, you know, physically, you've got to bring your car in for that work. Not only do I think it's important for our business now, I think it's going to be even more important going forward. You know, I once heard, you know, our business described a little bit like the razor blade business, like, oh, we give them away in the beginning and take the loss there so we can make it up in the end. And you know, I don't subscribe to that belief either. I think a dealership, in order to really function properly, needs to make sure you're profitable in all departments: new sales, used sales, service, and parts. That makes it healthy. Because if you just subscribe to that razor blade theory, you know, what happens when Dollar Razor Club comes along, right? And just wipes out that model. We really need to focus on the overall health of the business. You can't be unhealthy over here and then expect to be completely healthy over here. Say for say, you can't be completely healthy in sales and then have a terrible service department. You can't have a terrible sales department and then hope to make it all up in service as well. So we need to be well-rounded individuals, well-rounded dealers as well, well-rounded operators. So fixed ops, absolutely critical, but so is the entire business. And we don't want to like exclude one side of the business just for the other. It's a balance. And, you know, just like I think most things in life, it's about having the right balance. But certainly, if you were to say to me, it's funny. Let me give you an example. So when we're planning out new buildings, we used to plan out first, new car, where's the showroom, where's the new car parking, new. Now we go, okay, we start off with how many service bays? What's our service business? Where does our service parking go? So we've now flipped with our priorities when we're looking at designing a new dealership and how we design that flow. So now the service has risen to the top, and then everything kind of backs through there. So it has changed somewhat, that emphasis, but the whole business is still important. That makes sense?
I love it. Absolutely. What a great explanation. Beau, we've got a question for you from our studio audience. Garry House is a recognized industry consultant, and Garry, go ahead.
Yes, thanks, Ted. Hi, Beau. I know from the history of your store that family has been a huge part of your experience in automotive, and you've talked about leaving a similar legacy for those in your family who follow you. How have you integrated the idea of family into the Galpin experience for your employees and your leadership team?
Well, thank you for that question. And family is paramount to what we do, and we call it the Galpin family. You know, as a lot of organizations do. It's not just the Boeckmann family. We have a number of families within the organization where it's mother and daughter, father and son, multi-generations, brothers and sisters and cousins and aunts and uncles. So it's not just the Boeckmann family, that first of all. Second of all, I'm blessed. I've got my nephew who's in the business as well, and we have him actually focused in parts and service. So his focus is learning the parts and service business from the ground up. You know, I think of him as a kid. He's now, in his mid-30s with 2 kids himself. So it's funny when you get older what you think of as young. My kids are a little bit younger, so I've got to see where their interest is in the business. So far, they've shown that they do have some. But, you know, my dad never pressured us into getting into the business. He wanted us to do where we felt our heart was. My heart was in the business, and I feel blessed because of that. And we'll see how my kids end up. But we've got my nephew who's there, my cousins I work with. Uncle is, semi-retired, but he's still there, works in our overseeing our service departments as well. So we're blessed with a family, and I hope it can continue, but, no pressure. And there's, like I said, lots of families. It's just not the Boeckmann family.
Very well said. Thank you, Garry.
Yes, thank you, Garry.
Beau, it's been a great privilege having you here today at the Fixed Ops Roundtable, and we're honored to have you. And our audience, again, we've been eagerly awaiting to hear from you. So thank you so much, and we're humbled to have you.
Well, it's my honor to be here, and thank you so much. It's been absolutely my pleasure. So hope you have a wonderful conference, and God bless you all.
Thank you,
Beau Boeckmann here at the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Thank you.
Well, Ted, our next guest is a personal friend, someone who was instrumental in helping me become a trainer in the automotive industry way back when the EV1 first launched with General Motors and Saturn in that relationship. Chris Saraceno was the EV1 trainer at the class I attended to learn all about that vehicle. And he gave me the opportunity to actually take part as a trainer my very first time in that class. And so we're excited to have Chris on the show.
Gene, what a great honor to welcome Chris Saraceno, the Vice President and partner of Kelly Automotive Group, and also the best-selling author of The Theory of Five. Chris, this is your first Fixed Ops Roundtable. Thank you so much for being here, and we can't wait to hear your story.
Gene, Ted, thank you so much for inviting me to the Fixed Operations Roundtable, the greatest show on earth. I am so honored to be involved and invited to present along all these great, exceptional people that you have here today. I'm here today to present the Theory of Five philosophy, which is about discovering the secrets of the world's happiest and most prosperous people. I know we all hear people say, leave work at work and home at home. That's next to impossible to do. So today we're going to talk about how are we going to be happy and prosperous. But the first thing I'd like to do is congratulate each and every person attending this conference. Why congratulations? So I want you to think about this question. What are the odds of your two parents meeting one another in this world and conceiving the unique genetic you? Go ahead, think about that. What are the odds of the two of them meeting each other in this world and you being born? I want you to do me a favor, write that number down. Have that number in your head. Is it 1 in 100? Is it 1 in 10,000? Go ahead, write it down. It's actually 1 in 400 trillion. So we all have won the lottery of life. So my question is, what are you going to do? What are we going to do with this amazing gift called life? What are we going to do to become the best versions of ourselves? We have one life to live. So after 30 years of researching, meeting, interview, observing, and studying people that I believe are some of the happiest and most prosperous people in the world, here's what we discovered. The 5 most influential areas in a person's life that lead and support to happiness and prosperity, thus the name of the book. So I have a question for the audience. What does happiness and what does prosperity mean to you? Think about that for a second. Write it down. Have that definition in your mind. Now, Webster's defines happiness as a state of well-being, contentment. They define prosperity as being successful or thriving. So, why do some people excel in life, while others that we know who are equally talented and bright struggle to get by? Think of those people and picture them in your mind. These bright people that you scratch your head and say, why are they not successful? Why do they seem angry and there's always something going on in their life? What's the secret of the people that excel in life and are so happy? Well, it's something that your parents already understand. This is why so often, if you're a parent, I want you to think about that. Put your hand up if you're a parent. We often focus on who our children spend time with. Why? Because as parents, we clearly understand that they are influenced by their group that they spend time with. This group is going to impact them either positive or negatively on their attitude, their goals, their behavior, and their future. Newsflash, this does not change if you're 15 or 50. Who we spend time with will absolutely impact us. We are a reflection of the people we surround ourselves with. In most cases, the 5 people we spend the most time with. Another reason for the name, Theory of 5. So the Theory of 5 is based on the philosophy of making this fact work for us. We have found that most people limit themselves to what we call circle 1, which is their personal connection. That consists of the people we spend the most time with. That could be because of work, could be because someone you're married to or you live with, could be a personal obligation that you feel for somebody. These are people that could support our growth and happiness or could drag us down. Remember, people will treat us the way we allow them to treat us. So what we have found is the happiest, most prosperous people expand their boundaries to what we call circle 2, which is your inspirational connection. These are people handpicked by us. Why? They are subject matter experts in a field or in an area that you want to excel at. These are people that are mentors or co-mentors. So what is a mentor or co-mentor? This is someone who models the behavior, the actions and results that you want to emulate in life. These are people that could become lifelong friends. These are people that you want to spend time with. Mentors are not only people that we can learn from. Some of the most successful people that I've interviewed have told us they've learned the most from what we call an anti-mentor. They've learned what not to do. They've learned not how to act, not how to behave, not how to think. We all know an anti-mentor. I want you to think right now, what can you learn from that anti-mentor? What can you learn to become a better version of yourself and make sure that you do not duplicate? Some of the best managers and leaders I've met said the reason I manage this way is because I learned from a person that taught me what not to do. I remember how it made me feel. So now that we have an overview of the Theory of 5, let's dig deeper into the 5 areas that the happiest and most prosperous people focus on. That first area, as we mentioned earlier, is spirituality. Spirituality is a great foundation for creating and maintaining a loving and supportive relationship. It allows us to realize that we are not the center of the world, and everything we do has an effect on every other aspect that we have. Number 2, and I want to mention to this is in no particular order. The 5 areas of the Theory of 5 will change of importance in your life depending on what's happening to each one of you at any particular time. So number 2 is marriage and relationships. This will influence every other area of the Theory of 5. We look at it and said the 10 elements of a successful relationship are love, commitment, respect, support, humor, communication, having patience, having common core values, forgiveness, and being grateful. Another area we found in relationships is learning how to disagree well. And I want you to think about that. The people that you disagree with and you understand that you have the same intent and it's not done with malice, these are the people that get along best. Sometimes conflict does create chemistry. So now we know the first 2 are spirituality, marriage and relationships. Let's go on to number 3, parenting and family. We clearly understand you could have a spiritual life, you could have a great relationship with your spouse or significant other. But if your children, if your nieces or nephews are having issues or having problems and cannot survive on their own, we're never going to be completely satisfied and feel prosperous and happy. This is why we believe that every parent's goal is to make sure their children could survive and thrive on their own. The analogy I heard years ago was that it's like a baby bird. The goal of every bird, every parent, is to make sure that that bird could fly on their own. That's what we have to do with our children, our nieces or nephews, that at a certain age, that they have the ability that if you're not around, they could survive and thrive on their own. I want you to remember this statement. People do not care how much you know until they know how much you care. Say that to yourself. People do not care how much you know until they know how much you care. And that goes not only in your personal life, but in your professional life. When people know you care, that's when they start internalizing. That's when they listen, because they know that you want the best for them. Those of us who are parents. Imagine when your child was born. Could you imagine holding your child in your hand and looking at them and saying, you know what? I hope someday he or she is average. No, nobody hopes they have an average child or an average life. We have one opportunity to have a great life. So now that we know the 3 of the 5 key areas of the theory of 5, let's go on to number 4, which is business and finance. In business and finance, just like in life, nobody sets out to have an average life or career. Goals and vision are essential. The most successful people I know, they do not look at work as work or their career as work. They look at it as a sport. They enjoy it. They enjoy every single day going in and competing. They enjoy surrounding themselves with the best. Thus, the reason we're all here at this conference today. The reason we're here is that we understand iron sharpens iron, that we want to be great and we want to get better at everything we do. Ask, who are the people you enjoy being around the most? Many people believe when it comes to business and finance that the main goal is being wealthy and having lots of money. I don't believe that's the case. The people that I know that are the happiest and most prosperous, they really look at it because of freedom and independence. Freedom and independence from financial stress. Freedom and independence deciding where you want to live. Freedom and independence to help your family and help friends. Freedom and independence to build a legacy, to support others, to donate and give back. That's really why you want to be successful in business and finance, is the freedom and independence that it gives us. So now we clearly understand we become the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with, and not to limit ourselves to circle 1, but go to circle 2. And those are the people that could be mentors, the motivated people. We also understand that the 4 concepts we talked about so far were spirituality. Then next we went into relationships and marriage. Then it was parenting. And then we talked about business and finance and the freedom and independence that it gives you. Now we're going to go into theory number 5, which is health and fitness. Because without our health and fitness, and if there's anyone out there that has known anybody or you experience health issues, you understand it is tough to do any of the other 4, to take care of your children, to take care of business. If you're not healthy, we don't take care of ourselves. We have one life to live and we have one body to take care of. Without health and fitness, every other area of the theory of 5 becomes so difficult. If we don't invest in ourselves, we are unable to invest in the people that we love most. Our family, our friends, and our team. So now we know the 5 key areas of happiness and prosperity. So I have a question for the audience. Who are the people you enjoy spending the most time with? The people who are grateful for what they have, but continue to push and improve in their life. They are the happiest and most enjoyable people to be around. Picture those people in your mind. Why do you like to spend time with them? Because they're grateful, because they continue to push. That's what we're doing here today. That's why everybody's at this conference today, because they want to meet people that want to be great. They want to meet people that want to excel in life and grow their business. So in summary, we believe we're never going to achieve perfection. And the moment we believe we have is the moment we stop improving or start falling backwards. There is absolute power in people, because when we surround ourselves with like-minded people, like today, with passion and purpose, our dreams do come true. And when we provide value to the world, we will be rewarded with happiness and prosperity in our life. I want you to imagine this. Imagine if every person was clearly aware of their purpose and lived the theory of 5 life. We would be better parents. We'd be better partners. We'd have better health. We'd be more patient. We'd have more passion. we'd be a better version of ourselves. The truth is, we all have potential, and there's absolute power in people. I believe when we surround ourselves with like-minded people, with passion and purpose, our dreams will come true. Ted, Gene, thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate it being part of this group.
Chris, thanks so much. And at the end of your book, Theory of Five, I noticed that you went back and you interviewed some of the people who influenced you in life, your mentors, and tell us maybe just a couple names of those people and tell us why you chose to do that.
Great question. Some of the people that I interviewed in the book are Dave Anderson from Learn to Lead, Sean Wolfington and David Boyce. They are both tech entrepreneurs, and they also have founded Tier 10, Advertising, Car Saver, and those are just two companies of many that they have. Susan Givens, who's the editor of Auto Success Magazine, Evelyn Longsworth. Gene, you remember we worked together with her at Saturn Corporation, one of the brightest trainers, facilitators, the best mother, an exceptional parent overall, and just a wonderful person. These are just a few of the dozen people that I've interviewed in the book, and I believe model the Theory of Five life. And that's why I interviewed these folks, because they model everything we just talked about today. So thank you very much. Everybody have a great day and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you so much, Chris, for being a part of the Fixed Ops Roundtable, and we welcome you back for many, many more of these events and conferences. Chris Saraceno, everybody.
Thank you, Chris. Ted, our next presenter was with us in Vegas, and man, did he turn up the energy when we really needed it most. Let's welcome Glenn Lundy to the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Hey, Gene, Glenn rocks the internet every morning with Rise and Grind. So Glenn Lundy, the founder of 800% Club and the host of hashtag Rise and Grind every morning. Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Hey, thanks, man. I am very, very, very grateful to be here. This is awesome. Thank you so much.
You did a fantastic job in Vegas. You won the Best Practice Award. Everyone's been asking about having you back, so I'm glad that we have this opportunity as well. So, Glenn, the show is yours.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate it. I want to start off just real quick. If you guys will do me a favor, if you would raise your hand, just raise your hand if you by chance know someone in this industry that is divorced or recently divorced. Now do me another favor, you can put your hands down. Will you raise your other hand if you know someone in this industry that is or used to be on drugs? All right, good. Now, I see a lot of hands out there. Now, can you raise your hand if you know some people that have been in this industry for a really long time and they're still broke? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Anybody? You guys know any broke people in this industry? I know quite a few broke people in this industry. And then also, I want you to raise your hand real quick if you know any people that are in this industry that are maybe depressed, or maybe even you know some that have taken their own life. Anybody? It's a lot, right? It's a lot. And we wonder, after seeing, look around, look at all those hands that we see. We wonder why people don't want to be in the auto industry, right? We wonder. So, like, as people, here we are, and here I am. There's Ted and myself, right? Like, I'm alive. I've been in this business for a really long time, right? And I'm alive, and I've reached super high levels of success in this industry, right? Like, I'm married, and apparently I'm relatively fertile. I have a whole lot of children, going on 8 of them to be exact. And other than my family, there's nothing I love more than the auto industry. It's crazy, right? And to think it all started a long time ago. I saw this ad in the newspaper. It said, earn $5,000 a month, guaranteed, right? And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, that's all the money in the world. I could retire. I could get a big old boat. I can go deep sea fishing. I remember thinking that was just just everything, man. And so I went to this Nissan Subaru dealership and I applied for a job. And the guy that interviewed me, he was incredible. He was like a year older than me at the time. I was like 21. He was like 22. And he was the general manager of this store. And he had his tie on and he just looked so professional. And so they hired me right there on the spot, man. I told him I needed 2 weeks notice. And he was like, no, I'm looking for people who can start today. And I'm going, all right, man, I'll do it. And maybe I should have thought about that for a second, because that's not normally what most employers would want people to do. They'd want you to do the right thing. So maybe that was a sign. I don't know. But I was like, yes. And I jumped in, and I remember the first interaction with a customer. I remember the first time I sold them something. I actually sold a yellow Nissan Xterra manual transmission. Sold it to a 19-year-old young lady. It was awesome. She didn't even know how to drive a stick, but I taught her how to drive a stick. We sent her on her way, and I made a little bit of money. And from that moment forward, I was hooked. I knew that this industry was for me. I knew it. Now, what I didn't know is that I wasn't quite ready for this industry. And ultimately, it was destined to destroy me. From the time that I started working in a dealership, that first 7 years that I spent with that store, in that period of time, I went to jail. I did drugs for the first time in my entire life. I drank. I ultimately ended up homeless. At one point, super depressed, suicidal. And the worst part about it was I ended up being like a deadbeat dad, man. I was just working in the industry, right? Just trying to make those dollars. And I just wasn't ready. The environment that I was in was not conducive in any way, shape, or form. And so after losing custody of my daughter and going through that whole 7-year season, as I stepped out of the industry for a little bit, when I stepped back in, that was my resume. How about that for a resume, right? That's what I got for 7 years of hard work in the auto industry, from working bell to bells every single day, working Saturdays, working Sundays, right? For doing all of that, I came back with this resume of jail, drugs, homelessness, suicidal, right? That's what I carried with me. That's what I got. And I was a product of my environment. And you and all of your people are a product of their environment too. But what's crazy is even with that resume, I was able to walk back into this industry and ultimately become the general manager of the second largest used car franchise dealership in the country. And that's what's cool about this industry, right? That's why I love the car business. No down payment is needed, right? You can walk in with 3 nickels, no belt, your dad's like best Sunday tie, and you can ultimately walk out a director of a large service department. You can walk out a general manager. You can walk out an owner. You can walk out any of those things, right? That's why I love the car business, because it doesn't matter if you're black or you're white or you're green or you're purple. It doesn't matter if you're a believer, a non-believer, a Democrat or a Republican. It doesn't matter if you're tall or if you're short. It doesn't matter if you're a little person or if you're one-legged or if you're cross-eyed or overweight or all jacked up on Mountain Dew and Red Bull. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. If you have the right environment and relentless work ethic, you can dominate in this industry. Absolutely dominate. And that's why I love the car business. But with that said, man, the system is still broken. Like you saw all the hands up at the very beginning when we started, right? It's broken. Too many people in this industry end up where I did back then, and there's not enough people that end up where I am right now. There's not enough. And so until that changes, you are always going to be seen as the sleazy, slimy, rip-off department of commerce, right? That's just where we land. That's how the world sees us. That's what the world believes about us. And until that changes, the pool of people that we get to hire, that we get to pull from, that we get to bring in, right? It's always going to be difficult. We're always going to have a shortage of techs. We're always going to have a shortage of people with integrity because nobody is lining up saying, I want to be in the car business. Because all they know is what they see and what they believe. But I believe we can do something about that. I think it's time that we eradicate the negative stigmas that are associated with the car business. And so how can we do that, Glenn? We're here, Fixed Ops Roundtable. How can we do that, man? How can we make that shift? How can we change those environments? So I'm going to give you 5 things that we can do to really shift that and change that, I believe. And the very first thing is I want you to stop letting people work for pennies. Let's start there. Let's stop letting people work for pennies. You see, something we do in this industry, as we're worried about expenses, as we're worried about our costs, as we're worried about all of those things, we'll pay the minimum that we can to necessarily get somebody that's good, right? That can do a good enough job. We'll pay the minimum that we can, but then we don't even really have any expectations from them for them to do more than what we imagined. We allow people to be lazy, to slack off, to show up whatever time they want to show up, to go on 14 cigarette smoke breaks, right? We allow these things. We allow people to underperform in this industry, and I just don't get it. That's not the standards across the board. When you go out of our industry, you see people are expected to grow, to challenge themselves, to get stronger, to get better, to produce, to maximize. We give them the opportunities to do that. But for some reason, our industry, we'd rather be lackluster. Let them come in, read the newspaper, grab a couple of cups of coffee, go out and get some breakfast, and maybe we'll turn some wrenches throughout the day. Maybe you'll turn some hours in exchange for your time. I want us to increase our expectations of our people so that we can take responsibility to making sure they get paid, making sure they make money, right? That's step 1. Step 2 is we need to spend less on our buildings and more on our people. Let's spend less money on these big Taj Mahals, these big facilities that we now learned we don't necessarily need. In a COVID era, we're starting to learn there's better ways, more efficient ways. So let's spend less money on the bricks and the tiles and spend more money on our people. Let's make sure that they're trained better. Let's make sure that their wages are good living wages, that they can actually grow and flourish outside of work, not just inside of the building. We also need to make sure they have the right tools, make sure we're generating plenty of customers. Let's give everybody an opportunity to win. Step 3 is I want you to follow the LEAD process, L-E-A-D-D. That's right, I spell lead with 2 Ds. The process is very simple. The L stands for listen. 2 ears, 1 mouth. I'm sure your mother told you this once before. We need to listen to our people first. We're always so quick to tell people what to do, what they need to do, or what they're not doing, what they could be doing better. But we need to listen, man. Our people have value. They have great ideas. They're incredible humans. Let's listen to them. Then once we listen, we can follow that with advise, which is the A in lead. We need to advise our people, we need to encourage, the E, I spelled it wrong. Listen, then we need to encourage, which is the E in lead. So a lot of times we listen just to try to object. We listen to try to say why people are wrong. But when you listen with the intention of encouraging, finding the good in people, it's a shift, it changes, it's different. The A in lead stands for advise. Now that we've listened to our people and we've encouraged them with positive reinforcement, now we've earned the right to advise. Most managers go straight to advise. Here's what you did wrong, here's what you need to do. Take the time, listen, encourage, then you can advise. It's better received and it's far more productive. Then the D in lead stands for develop. Once you advise your people, don't just tell them to go out there and do it. Take the time to show them, develop their skills, develop the behaviors that you want to see more of that you know are going to make them successful in the building and out. And the last D is daily. We have to do it every single day, man. It's not once a week. It's not once a month. It's every day. Listen, encourage, advise, and develop. Do it every single day. That's step 3. Step forward to eradicating these negative stigmas. I want you to make sure that you take a vested interest in your people. There's too many people out there with mental issues, depression, things that set in. They burn out, or maybe they don't have the character or the integrity that they have a need in order to be successful, to really grow and to really thrive. So we need to take a vested interest in these people, man. These are not just commodities. These are people. They have issues. They have concerns. They have a life outside of the building. Take a vested interest and let's do something about it. Let's pour into them. You never know what's going on until you ask. Step 5 is let's have some fun. We really got to start having a little bit more fun in these departments. I mean, my goodness, like sales gets all the glory, right? Don't those guys get all the glory? Salespeople get all the glory. They get all the accolades. They get all the stuff. And sometimes we forget our fixed ops. We forget our guys in the back. We got to have lots of fun, spiffs and games and all of those things, right? It should be a circus back there, right? Like totally having fun because they're people too. We need to put on a show, man. Think about it every day. How can we put on a show? How can we make it fun? As a matter of fact, it shouldn't be just a show. It should be the greatest show, right? One where people love, they love who they are and they love what they do. And they're singing your praises from like the circus tent tops about how amazing it is and how you've continued to move their life forward. I think if you do those 5 things with your people in your fixed ops departments and across the board, it'll help eradicate the negative stigmas associated with the car business and make a massive impact on this industry.
Glenn Lundy, amazing, very inspirational. How true. You know, and what you say, just a little bit earlier today, we heard from Boeckmann at Galpin Motors, and, you know, his message and your message, you know, what an inspiration to our industry. And I can't, 19 years old when I got in the industry, I never met so many men, it was all men, who smoked cigarettes and drank coffee all day long.
That's right.
So it set up, you know, all the bad things that for that environment for everybody who followed us. So
it sure did. It sure did.
Glenn Lundy here at the Fixed Ops Roundtable. Glenn, tell us about your mastermind and how often that happens.
Yeah, man, we've now got the hashtag Rise and Grind Elite. You can go to riseandgrindelite.com to be a part of that. And we meet 2 hours a week, Monday mornings early, Thursday evenings later. We meet and just basically leverage each other's relationships and experiences so that we can level up in all the different areas. So would love for you to join me.
And not to mention your morning show, hashtag Rise and Grind. I've seen it on Facebook every morning. What time is that again?
5:30 a.m. live, man. 712 episodes as of today.
Love it. Everything in life is daily. Glenn Lundy.
That's right.
Thank you, Glenn. Hey, we're going to come back really soon, but first let's go to our Master of Ceremonies and Impressionist Extraordinaire, Ben Price.
Greetings, folks. It's Sean Connery, back again for another Fixed Ops Roundtable. You know, I've found that if you're going to change, it comes from the heart first. No thinking. That comes later. And next are some real heartfelt leaders, including Sarah Van Tyne from Scott Clark Auto Group, the Fixed Ops Training Panel sponsored by Fairchild Automotive Solutions, plus author and speaker Katie Mears, The Things I Do for England.
Hi folks, it's Kara. You have just one more chance before the end of the show to vote for the Best Practice Award winners for the greatest show. Get out your phone, open your camera, and scan the QR code. It will take you to our Best Practice Award voting site where you will make a decision on our top presenters.